The Quran reveals knowledge of ancient Egypt that was lost to mankind for thousands of years. The Quran makes the historical claim about the titles of the leaders of ancient Egypt. In particular, the Egyptian word Pharaoh advances in our understanding of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs have shown that the Quran's use of the term Pharaoh is historically accurate. The word Pharaoh is a title that originates from the Egyptian term Pera, literally great house, describing the royal palace. Historically, however, Pharaoh only started being used as a title for the king much later in Egyptian history during the New King period. 24. This is taken from the book Egyptian Hieroglyphs, published by the British Museum. The ordinary word for king, already encountered above, is Nut, often abbreviated to. Here are some other common designations with their conventional translations. Great house, Pharaoh, used from the New Kingdom on. Similarly, under the entry Pharaoh, the British Museum Dictionary of Ancient Egypt confirms that it was first used to refer to the king in the New Kingdom period. Pharaoh, term used regularly by modern writers to refer to the Egyptian king. The word is the Greek form of the ancient Egyptian phrase Para, the great house, which was originally used to refer to the royal palace rather than the king. The great house was responsible for the taxation of the lesser houses, such as the temple lands and private estates. It was only from the New Kingdom onwards that the term was used to refer to the king himself. A timeline of ancient Egyptian history. Ancient Egyptian history is usually divided into periods roughly corresponding to the 30 dynasties of king listed by Manetho, an Egyptian chronicler of the 3rd century BCE. I have summarized some of these dates below from Nicholas Grimald's A History of Ancient Egypt. During which periods did Joseph and Moses live in Egypt? Professor Emeritus of Egyptology Kenneth Kitcher dates the story of Joseph entering Egypt to the 2nd intermediate period. The exodus of Moses from Egypt, however, is estimated by scholars to have taken place later in history. They place him within the New Kingdom period, according to the Dictionary of Proper Names and Places in the Bible. Moses' career unfolds 1250, the date generally accepted for the Exodus. Similarly, the Encyclopedia Judaica describes Moses as a leader, prophet, and lawgiver, first half of the 13th century BCE. Summary. The table below sums up the discussion concerning the use of Pharaoh, and ancient Egypt, and includes the times when Joseph and Moses entered Egypt. The Quran. The Quran is filled with stories about past nations. It wants us to reflect on history, which facilitates humility and discourages arrogance of one's own civilization. Power comes and goes, and we must be humble, as we will not last forever. Another benefit of focusing on history is that we learn from the mistakes of others. The Quran refers to Egyptian rulers throughout its chapters. The Quran uses the title king to refer to the ruler at the time of Joseph. He is never once labeled as Pharaoh. The Quran repeatedly calls the ruler at the time of Moses Pharaoh. He is never called king. So the Quran's use of words respects what we know historically about the changing meaning of the word Pharaoh. Amazingly, these historical facts were unknown at the time of the revelation of the Quran. In the 7th century, mankind's knowledge of Egyptian hieroglyphs was then long lost. The only available source recording the religious past were Bible-based stories which were in circulation. Some critics of the Quran make the claim that its stories about prophets such as Moses and Joseph were copied from the Bible. But this can't be the case. The Bible incorrectly uses the title Pharaoh to refer to the Egyptian ruler in the stories of Moses, Joseph, and even as far back in story as Abraham. It is only the Quran which has the correct historical understanding of ancient Egypt. The Arab scholars Dulnun al-Misri and Ibn Washia were some of the first historians to be able to partly translate what was written in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. They lived over 200 years after the Quran was revealed. It wasn't until the discovery of the Rosetta Stone over 1,000 years after the revelation of the Quran that the French Orientalist Jean-Francois Champollion was able to translate the hieroglyphs in 1822.